has been a few days since I've recorded. I went to Wisconsin like I mentioned I was going to, and I have not written literally a single word since then. So it is now Tuesday, and the last I wrote was Thursday night, so I definitely have quite a bit of catching up to do in terms of word count, but I'm trying not to let word count be like the main thing that I'm motivated by. I'm still feeling really good about where the story is at, and that's what I am trying to focus on. Also, hi, if we don't know each other, my name is Andy. I am a debut author working on her first fantasy book, which is House of Aphtos, and I'm currently participating in a November drafting challenge where I am trying to write 50,000 words in a month to write the second book of that series. So stay tuned if you want to hear more about that. Well, guys, it is now Tuesday evening. Last time we talked, it was around my lunchtime, and yeah, I am still just as behind as I was then. I didn't have a chance to get any writing done today, given that I had work and everything. But the great news is I have a live stream coming up in about an hour, and I'm not going to try to play crazy catch up and just get a bunch of words in or anything. I'm just gonna try and get as much progress as I can during the live stream and not push myself towards any certain word count or anything. I was planning to get up and go to a cafe this morning, but I absolutely did not get up. As you can tell by my voice, I am still a little sick, so I think I just needed the extra sleep. But I'm gonna try really, really hard to get up tomorrow and go and get at least an hour of writing done before work. I think that would help me feel a lot better about where I'm at within November, especially with the live stream tonight too. So hopefully I can get a good amount of work done between those two times. If I can get somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000 words in the next 24 hours, that would feel really good. And I know that's a very achievable number as long as I can just focus in and get 3 hours of writing in or so. That shouldn't be too hard to achieve, 3 to 4 hours. So anyway, I made myself a cup of tea. This is like my third cup today, trying to drink less coffee and more water while I'm sick. So you'll be proud of me to know I just had a cappuccino this morning, and everything else that I've had today has been water. So that's a big achievement for me. I am a coffee person. So anyway, I'm gonna sip on this. I actually need to start dinner now, so that way it's ready when my husband gets home, because our typical dinner time is kind of during the live stream. So I'm gonna try to make some chili before the live stream so he can eat it when he gets home, and then I will eat it after the live stream. But anyway, I'm gonna check in with you guys after the live stream, let you know how it went, and hopefully have some good news. And then, of course, now that I've told you that we're going to the cafe in the morning, I have to go. So I will bring you guys along for that footage as well, because I'm really excited to get some work done and maybe go get a bagel or something in the morning. I feel like that just sounds good. Anyway, that's where we're at. I'll see you guys in a little bit. That's what critique partners are for. Voiceover Andy popping in here to take you through the next morning. We got up and went to one of my favorite coffee shops, and I got a black Americano and a bagel with peanut butter and was able to write for about 40 minutes. I actually ended up hitting the 14,000 word mark during this session, which was really exciting, and was drafting some scenes that I'm just feeling really confident about. So despite having the trip to Wisconsin kind of throw a wrench in my progress as far as getting 1,600 words every single day, I really felt confident in some of the sessions I was able to get from Wednesday through the weekend. So anyway, I'm just feeling really excited. I'm happy that this project in November is giving me a break from revising and giving me a chance to step back into kind of a drafting headspace. And it's really inspiring me all over again for this whole series and just why I love it so much. So that feels really good, and I'm excited to be documenting it all for you guys. Okay, I have to go into work, so I'm going to make this so fast, but that went really well. I got about 1,150 words written in like 40 minutes, so that was great, and it actually put me over 15K in the manuscript, so I'm really excited about that, and this is definitely a chapter that I'm pantsing. I didn't have a specific outline for it, but it feels good. I think I've kind of made a forced proximity situation for my two MCs, which will help, I think, develop their relationship to the next kind of phase of what it needs to go to. So really excited about where I'm at, and that makes me feel good about if I only have a little bit more time to write today, I'm still in a really good position. So that's the update there. I'm gonna head into work and check in with you guys later. Hi, it is now the evening. Oh, hey Bennett, say hi to the people. I guess he's gonna sit here. Now the evening, okay, let's start again. Hi everybody. It is now Wednesday evening. Like I mentioned earlier, feel really good about the writing session I got done this morning. Oh, thanks. I got a little over 1,100 words written, and I feel really good about that. Oh my gosh, wants to smell my hair. It's all clean now, huh? Anyway, I just got home from work and showered, got cleaned up. I am gonna write a little bit more tonight, but first I'm probably gonna eat some leftover chili from last night. And I also kind of picked up on a knitting project that I started a long time ago at lunchtime today. And I kind of want to knit for a little while too. So I think I might do that and kind of relax. And then go back to writing a little bit later in the evening. My husband and I have actually been watching the entire Twilight series. We started watching it while we were in Wisconsin. And my friend and her husband were like totally down to watch it, which I was really excited about because I don't think I could ever get my husband to commit to watching those with me without peer pressure. So now that he's watched them, he is invested, obviously, and you have to watch to the end. So we watched Breaking Dawn Part 1 last night, and we just have Breaking Dawn Part 2 left. So we're going to watch that maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. But I'm excited to finish that up as well. So I'm going to knit, I'm going to write, I'm going to eat, and maybe watch Breaking Dawn Part 2, which I feel like is just a great night. I have not read those books yet, Twilight books, but they're on my TBR for this year. I feel like they might be a really good thing to add in. Anyway, that's the update, and I will check in with you guys in a little bit if I end up writing. And if I don't, then I'll probably see you tomorrow to end off this vlog. Okay. Oh, come here, Bennett. Yes. Oh, good. Okay, well, I have a live stream coming up in about an hour. I did get a little bit of writing today. Also, hi, sorry, it's still Thursday night. I haven't recorded since yesterday. Have I recorded today? Probably not. So anyway, sorry, it's Thursday night. I got a little bit of writing done today, but I didn't record it. I got another 500 or 600 words done in chapter 8. So now I'm on to chapter 9, which puts me, I think I'm like nearing 17,000 words. So I've made some good progress in the last few days. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm trying to focus less on word count and more on quality, and I'm feeling really excited. Some very important world building just got revealed in chapter 8 that I originally had worked into book 1, but realized for the suspense of the series and of the story, it needed to be pushed to book 2. So anyway, I was able to talk about that, which was really exciting. But before I go into my live stream that I have later tonight, I thought I would do a little Q&A. I dropped a question of what do you guys want to hear about on my community tab and got some really great questions. So I want to spend a couple minutes answering some of those, and then I'll probably wrap this video up there as I head into my live stream tonight. First question, Alyssa actually asked 3, so I'm going to start with hers. First of all, she said something very nice about being talented and pretty or something like that. So Alyssa, shut up. Thank you. That's so nice. Her second question though was about running tips, which I don't have a ton. While I have run 2 marathons, I definitely wouldn't call myself a seasoned runner or anything. But the advice that I can give is to set your own pace. I used to really struggle with long distance running. I am very short with not a long stride, so I'm definitely not built like a long distance runner. And I used to struggle with anything over like 2 miles. So the way I finally broke through that was by slowing down to a pace that felt like I could walk and talk at it. And it actually helps to run with a friend to practice that. So my sister-in-law enjoys running, so we would do that together at a pace that felt just like you could go forever. So I'd say start there, and then a great way to increase your pace over time, like once you feel like you can run 3 or 4 miles at whatever pace it takes for you to do that comfortably, then you can start doing what are, it's kind of a funny word, but they're called fartlicks. And basically what it means is that you are running, 30 seconds at more of a all-out run, and then a minute at like a jog, and then a minute at a walk. And you kind of do that interval style running for, maybe you do it for 30 minutes, maybe you do it for a total of 2 miles or however long it takes. So start with that, and incrementally that will help your pace get faster. And yeah. Oh, and also find a good podcast to listen to. I do not listen to music when I run. She asked about book cover inspiration, which I love. I must admit that I do love the ACOTAR book covers, not the original ones, but these ones, I do have a working cover that I have put together for my series. They're not this bright, but there's elements of some of the concept. I don't know how to explain it without giving it away, what the cover of my books look like. But there are elements from these books that I really enjoyed in terms of the eye-catchingness and kind of the way that they're not like typical fantasy books in terms of like dark and moody and whatever. So moving on. Kimberly asked for some book recommendations and music for writing recommendations. I've talked about this a little bit in a few of my videos, but I always write to Lord of the Rings or Pride and Prejudice or some of the Bridgerton tracks. I also will listen to The Hobbit. So some really good ones in there. I listen to Narnia a lot. So yeah, I enjoy movie soundtracks. Things that are epic scores typically help me. I don't feel that way when I'm just needing inspiration. I do listen to a lot of Noah Kahan, which you would probably read my book and be like, where are you getting inspired by Noah Kahan listening to this? But it's there. For some reason, his lyrics always inspire dialogue for me. So if you're like a diehard Noah Kahan fan, you might be able to catch a couple dialogue bits inspired by his songs in my first book. Love to see if anyone can catch them. But anyway, I listen to his music for the lyric purposes, very good for dialogue. And then I also feel that way about, I guess he's the only one that comes to mind in terms of like lyrically, but most of the time I'm listening to instrumental music when I'm writing. So yeah, I would say anything that's from a movie that you love that fits the vibe of what you're going for, tune into that. I've said many times that Lord of the Rings and Narnia are two of my biggest inspirations. So I love the movies, I love the books, and listening to those soundtracks really helps me feel like my book is giving that mood. Kimberly also asked about book recommendations. So I love this question. This is so fun, especially since I just talked about reading recently. So I grabbed you guys a stack of some books that I've read recently that I've enjoyed. By recently, some of these mean within the last 6 months, and others are literally within the last year. So anyway, I'll kind of walk you through them. I chose this one. This is from a year ago. My work book club did this one last year heading into December. This is In Holidays by Christina Lauren. I loved this book. It was definitely something I flew through. I actually read it on my Kindle, but then happened to be gifted a version of it that was physical, so the spine is still perfect on this. But I flew through this book. It was such a fun little romantic, quick holiday read that just felt so cozy. So if you're looking for something that's not that deep but is a fun read, this one was great. So can't recommend that more. The Scarlet Thread by Francine Rivers. This is a true 90s book. It is from Francine Rivers in the 90s. You can tell by her outfit on the back that, oh my goodness, it's a throwback. She is actually one of my favorite authors. The first book I read by her was Redeeming Love, which is a movie. I couldn't recommend Redeeming Love more. That's actually one of my favorite books I've ever read. Yeah, it's actually what kickstarted me back into writing, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, Redeeming Love. The Scarlet Thread is my third or fourth Francine Rivers book. I read this one recently. It's definitely a slow moving story. The words are not huge on the page. So anyway, it took me a little while to get through this one, but I did really enjoy it. It felt like kind of a cozy Hallmark movie to have on, but with a little more plot, maybe. So anyway, definitely not a book about action. It's all about a woman who, her and her husband get a divorce, and she has to move across the country, and like it's a very womanhood story. If you're looking for a cozy romantic read that's not holiday related, I read Beach Read over the summer. This is by Emily Henry. Everybody, we all know Emily Henry. We all love her. I love this book because it's based in Michigan, like an hour and a half from where I'm from. So I loved this one because it felt like a piece of home. I will say it's probably not the most cozy read to have for the holidays or for wintertime. So maybe save this one for the spring or summer. The most recent book I read is The Martian by Andy Weir. I love this book. I am not normally a sci-fi reader. I enjoy sci-fi movies, but I rarely read the genre. And my husband, this is one of his favorite books of all time. So I picked it up off his bookshelf and told him I would read it. Absolutely loved it. The humor in this book is top notch. I laughed out loud way more than once, and now I need to rewatch the movie since I've read the book now. But just a really great story, whether you like the genre or not. I'd recommend it. And this one is my nonfiction recommendation. This is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. Obviously has a sad title, but fun, bright colors going on, kind of weird juxtaposition, but I really enjoyed this book. It's a great nonfiction if you're interested in that genre. I love an autobiography or a memoir, so this was great for that. It does have a little bit of dark content in it if you have a trigger with eating disorders or anything. Yeah, so a warning there, but other than that, really good. I flew through this as well. I love a memoir, just feels like storytelling. So anyway, those are all my book recommendations. Caitlin asked, if my book got turned into a miniseries, who would I want to direct it? The first person that comes to my mind is Greta Gerwig. I'm sure that everyone is like, duh, Greta's amazing. Particularly, I'm thinking about Little Women. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's actually one of the first books I read on my own that was a classic that just like enthralled me into the reading and writing world. I love it, but I love the work that she did with that movie, and obviously she's directed a lot of great other things as well. The short answer is Greta, because we love her. Enigma Tolls asked me, what are my go-to writing ideas or habits for days where writing feels more like a chore? This is a really, really good question, and a really important one too. I have had a lot of these days recently. In fact, yesterday kind of felt like one. I woke up and went to a cafe yesterday morning and got to write for a little while, and that felt great. And when I got home from work, I felt like I should write more, but I didn't really want to. So instead, I picked up my knitting needles, which I haven't knit in like 2 years, and finished a knitting project that's been 2 years old. So sometimes when I need to write or feel like I need to, but I don't want to, I know that what I put on the page is not going to be what feels good, and it won't be things I'm proud of or excited to go back and have to revise or reread later. So I'll pick something else that's creative, and sometimes that will snowball back into writing, which is great. I've talked a little bit in some of my previous videos about baking or cooking when I need to feel creative outside of writing, and that's helpful too. But sometimes you really do just have to like buck up and do it. What I like to do is find a writing sprint online. Doesn't always have to be hosted or like a live stream by an author tuber. There's a couple videos you can find online that are just like music that have sprints. There's one that I really like that's like writing on a dark academia train, and the music is like perfect for what I like to write to, and it's 25-minute sprints. I think there's 4 or 5 of them in the video, so having that always helps me. I think because I've been really productive to that video in the past, I tend to go back to it when I need to get stuff done but I'm not feeling super creative, which actually is kind of how it went today. I watched that video earlier today and I was feeling like I wanted to get a little writing done before the live stream tonight, but wasn't feeling super inspired, and that really helped me push through and actually get, 600 or 700 words, which was great. Emily asked me what I believe I am best at as a writer. I definitely think imagery is the thing I have been most praised for over my lifetime as a writer, from when I was a kid sharing writing with my mom or my grandma to adulthood now and sharing writing with my critique partners. I think that imagery and description and just being able to put the reader in the setting is what I've always been told I have a gift for. So I think I agree with that. I enjoy imagery in reading, so I think it's important to me in writing as well, so it makes sense that it would show up. But that's also where I can get a little flowery at times, but I'd like to think that my character development skills are growing. I don't think that's my best talent, but I think it's something that I'm actively growing in. I can see leaps and bounds in my dialogue and character growth and development since the first draft of House of Aphtose to now, so I'm happy to say that because that's obviously such a fundamental piece to good storytelling. So I'm glad to see that growth has happened and continues to happen in that area in particular. I feel like sometimes I can struggle with spending too much time in one scene and not enough in another. So probably depth of storytelling. I think sometimes I can go really deep and provide a lot of world building and really just draw the reader right into the scene. And other times I know I'm writing an important scene, but it doesn't come out as important on the page because I don't delve into the scene as much as I should. I would probably say inconsistency in depth of storytelling is something that I am finding I am strengthening as I go, especially when you start to look at not just chapter to chapter, but cohesively as a book. I think chapter to chapter, scene to scene, it's not bad, but I think when you look at the whole book, there's room for growth I could have in there. So She also asked, how do you leverage both of them in the drafting process? When I'm drafting, I really try to focus on my strengths. So I do a lot of description and a lot of dialogue, and I know that I can go back and cut those things out if I need to and give more inner thought to the character to do world building later on. I try to know that I can go back and look at things at a macro level when I'm revising and spend time in the things that feel exciting and like they propel the story forward when I'm drafting. I think that's all the questions that I had or that I was gonna answer in this video, so I will check back on that community post and maybe answer a few more in my next video. But for now, I'm gonna go make some dinner and prep for this live stream. But if you've made it this far in the video, comment a book emoji, classic, because we're all reading and we're all writing and doing all the crazy things in November. So classic book emoji for me if you've made it to the end of this video. If you're new here and you enjoy this content or want to keep up with me as I draft my second book to my House of Aefdos series in November, make sure you subscribe and hang around. Introduce yourself in the comments. I love to say hey and meet our new friends. And if you're familiar, make sure you are liking and just staying tuned for all my new content that I'm putting out. I love you guys, and I'll see you probably not too long from now, in a few days. All right, love you guys. Bye.